Welcome and thanks for joining me right here on my channel. The solution is you. I do appreciate each of you for tuning in to the channel. Now, if you enjoyed the content, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. With that, let me go ahead and start today's topic. Now, first of all, I hope that each of you are doing well. I do hope that you are staying safe and warm during this winter time period. And I surely hope that you have enough food. I know that some of us have been experiencing inclement weather with the ice and snow, and a lot of us have got into some last minute shopping. So, just the other day, there was a big freeze coming in, so I headed on down to my local grocery store. And so, when I got to the grocery store, I noticed that there were a lot of cars in the parking lot. So, I proceeded on in. And once I got into the store, I saw that the cash register lines were pretty long. So I went on in and got the stuff that I needed. And I said, that don't have anything to do with me. I'm going to head right over to the self checkout. And when I got over to the self checkout line, I noticed that the line was all the way to the back of the store. And I told myself, they got to be giving away free food or something because I've never seen the line this long. So you know how it is. You get in the line, you're in the self-checkout line, and usually they have a limit of the amount of items that you can put in your cart. So in this case, the amount is 15. And there's always someone who's saving a spot for somebody else. So you just as soon as you think that the line is shortened, you get about two or three people jump in line and throw some things in the basket of someone who's already in line. And that just extends everything by 15, 20 minutes. So when you get to the actual register at the self checkout line, why it always seems like you're a beginner. You're at the line and you're checking out, and there's always at least one item that doesn't check out. So now you have to call the attendant, and the attendant takes about 10 minutes to come over because usually they talking to someone or they can't be found, whatever the situation is. So by the time the attendant comes over, they always got to ask you some off the wall question like, well, did you scan the item? So let's go ahead and get into the topic. Now, today's subject: 5 creepy signs that show you may have settled for the goods. So let me start off with saying new relationships, men, are a great thing. When you meet a new honey, it's just something about her, the way she looks, maybe the way she talks, maybe the way she walks, is so appealing. And there was something that made you want to go up and get the number and give her a call to see what was really going on. And sometimes you can be so mesmerized by looks that you ignore a lot of the other things that are also important. You may be one that is going out of your way to impress your new flame by showing off your car. You may be taking on a shopping spree, or you just may be happy to have a cuddle companion. So, whatever the situation is, you still have to vet out the person that you are with. So, let me go ahead and get into number 5: being watched while sleeping. So, although when you're in bed with your girl and you had maybe a long night and you are so tired that you decide that it's time to go ahead and lay down, even though it could be normal for her to take a glance at you, or sometimes you may roll over and she may be looking at you eye to eye. It's a whole nother thing when the person is just sitting up staring at you. And so you may be tossing and turning. It's a little harder for you to go to sleep. And when you roll over in the darkness, you're just looking at her, just staring right at you. And so you may ask her, what, everything all right? And she's telling you that everything is good. So, you close your eyes for about what seemed to be about 30 seconds or so. And then you open your eyes back up and she's still looking at you. So, you ask, is everything good? And so she said, yeah, everything's fine. So you turn over and you close your eyes. So now it's the next day, same thing. You two, you have a great day and you are in bed and you go to sleep because you done put in some work, and you wake up in the middle of the night because you're about to use the restroom, and you find that your girl is standing right by the bed just watching you. So then, you don't pay it any mind. You just keep going. You go into the restroom. You thinking maybe she just happened to get up for something. And then you come back and lay down. Now, men, have you ever been in a situation where you had a girl that was always watching over you? Seems like she was just so fascinated to be laying next to you. You can't let this go unchecked. Number four, playing jack move games. So you remember back in the day with your boys, how sometimes you may just be walking and they catch you slipping sometimes, and they may run up on you, jack move, or I caught you slipping. Those were some the days to be remembered. Maybe you were in school or something like that, and one of your buddies ran up behind you and put you in a chokehold. Well, sometimes this can happen in relationships, depending on the person you're with. So let's say, for example, you just got off work and your woman is one to stay at home. So this is the woman that you've been knowing for about 6 months or so. You already got her moved in, and you come home, the lights are low, and you're hanging your jacket or whatever up, and you're making your way through the house. And out of nowhere, your woman comes up behind you and puts you in a chokehold. Or you could be getting out the shower, and you know how it is that you may have the lights on in the bathroom, and when you're coming out of the restroom, you turn the lights off. Maybe you have some dim lighting in your room, so your eyes have to get adjusted. And then your woman jumps out of nowhere and puts a cold metal tool to the back of your back, talking about caught you slipping, didn't I? Now, how many of you men have a woman that's playing these type of games? Now, obviously, this ain't somebody who you can take that serious, hopefully, that you're not planning to marry. But I'm talking about somebody who you're with for about 6 months or 3 months, you got them moved in, or this is just somebody you was messing with and you have them over occasionally at the house. How many of y'all have dealt with this type of nonsense? Number three, intentional interference. So let's say, you take your woman on down to a hotel because you need to rent out a conference room. You got serious business to take care of. So you just want to run by and speak to the concierge to set up an appointment. You want to see what type of rooms they have available. You need to know the sizes to accommodate the people that you need to talk to for an important meeting. So you run down there and you have your girl with you, and you are talking to the concierge, which happens to be a nice looking female. And so you're at the desk and she's letting you know what rooms are available and the sizes and going over the pricing. And you can't make your mind up because it's one of those things that you just happen to stop by. You really just wanted to get a feel for the pricing. And so it was just a spur of the moment thing where you happen to have your girl with you. And so you run in, you're talking with the female concierge. She's going over everything, and you can't make up your mind. And so the concierge is just re-emphasizing that she's there to accommodate you. And so when your girl hears that, she just chimes in, "Is this conversation over?" And then she grabs you by your arm and walks you away. And while y'all are walking away, she turns around and waves at the concierge. Number two, burn breakfast. So, a lot of times, especially when you've just met someone, just like you are going out of your way to impress the woman, most times she's trying to impress you as well. Doesn't matter who she is or how long she's known you. And usually, a woman is looking to impress you by making a meal of some sort. And what better way to impress you by making breakfast? So, you could be in bed. Maybe you are catching a game on television, or you could be watching some videos or something like that. And while you are in bed, your woman is already up in the kitchen, and suddenly the smoke detector goes off. And so, you run in the kitchen to see what's going on, and she's in there with a robe on, and she tells you, "Don't worry about what's going on. I got it under control. Just go on back to bed, and I'll let you know when things are ready." So the smoke detector's going off, and you're trying to fan the smoke, and so you're able to get the smoke detector off. So you go back and you get in bed. She continues her thing with the breakfast. So, once the breakfast is gone, she says, "Hey, baby, I need you to come on in here. Breakfast is ready. Make sure you wash your hands and come on in and have a seat." So you go and you wash your hands. You hungry, and then you hurry up, get on into the kitchen. You sit at the table, and your woman, she's looking all good or whatever. Now, remember, this is the woman that you just met. It's only been about a few months, and you already have her in the house. So she puts the plate of breakfast. So she scrambles some eggs, and the eggs, and she has some ham, and she has some bacon. And you notice that the bacon is burnt, and the eggs are looking kind of brown. And this may have been the reason why the smoke detector was going off. And she's in a robe, and she still has some of the tools behind her. So she has some of the knives and things like that still in her hand. And looks like she's about to, wash dishes while you eating. But she comes up behind you, and you notice she has a knife in her hand, and she asks you, "So, do you like my breakfast?" And the number one of the five creepy signs that show you may have settled for the goods is aggressive, excessive talking, laughing, or giggling during sex. So sometimes, depending on what your tastes are, you may encounter a woman that may be easier to be pleased. And so in her own way, she's showing you this by either smiling, or she could be laughing, or some other way of showing gratification. But in other instances where you have a woman during intense sex that is talking aggressively, so she's giving you commands, or she's forcing you to do certain things, or she could be one that could be laughing excessively. You really have to pay attention to this. You can't let this bypass you, because this may be a woman who has extensive experience. She may has been around the block more than a few times, and she may see you as being weak. So this could be a woman who is challenging you and could be actually looking at you as if you are beta. And so if you let this go unchecked, this could turn into a possible abuse situation. So she could begin punching you or hitting you or strangling you. Who knows what could happen next? And it's important that you always have control over these types of situations and can recognize when things are a little bit out of the ordinary so that you don't become a victim or become or get yourself into a situation that may be hard to get out of. I know sometimes, as a man, you may look at things as if you have it under control or it's just, something that is minor. But when you have someone who maybe is laughing or talking or giggling during intense sex and it's repeatedly happening, don't ignore this. Well, I thank you for listening to me today. Please understand that the solution is you. With that, have a great day.